Alright, we'll go ahead and get started now. Welcome to our webinar. Today we'll be talking about 7 exciting features in the new Camtasia 9. We'll just be going over some of these new things you can expect to find when you get the new Camtasia 9. We also have a guest, Calvin from TechSmith. He'll be taking some questions and he'll even walk us through some of the features here in Camtasia 9. We are recording this webinar and we'll post it on our webpage for you to find in the future. So if you have to step out, you'll be able to find it. Also, if you have questions during the webinar, we do have people ready to answer your questions, so feel free to use the questions panel as you need it. Calvin and I will be taking some questions, and you're welcome to ask questions that we may be able to answer there in the chat. Keep in mind that we'll have people available for you to call and email after the webinar, so if you have any additional questions, whether they're specific to Camtasia, specific to eLearning Brothers templates, or just about e-learning overall, feel free to reach out to us and we'll make some time for you one-on-one. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into Camtasia 9. As you can see here, it has this new dark interface, really smooth and much less straining on the eyes than Camtasia Studio 8. You'll also notice that the menu here is a ribbon that runs vertically rather than a horizontal ribbon, which used to be in Camtasia 8. And all of this paneling is now darker and a little bit more easy on the eyes. As you go through this ribbon, you can click on each one. It brings up a little sub-menu here. Here's all the behaviors, animations, transitions, annotations, cursor effects, video narration. Very, very similar to Camtasia 8, just kind of reorganized a little bit differently. So a little bit easier for you to use. It might take a little bit of getting used to, but it's for me it was a lot easier than the Camtasia 8. Also, there's a new Properties pane here on the right side that you can open and close. We don't have anything there right now, so let's go to the library. I'm going to get an asset from here, the Motion Graphics eLearning Brothers. This comes with any version of Camtasia 9. If you install the library, you'll get these eLearning Brothers assets. Go ahead and drag it down to the timeline. Right there. And so you can see that here in the Properties pane, we are now seeing scale, opacity, rotation, position, and these are all sliders that you can slide around, or go ahead and type in a number here. Rotation and position work the same way. Go ahead and scale this back up. So if I was to use any other attributes that I applied to this one object, I could edit them here in this Properties pane, and I can hide that or show that as I want. Also, there's, like I said, there's all these new built-in assets that come with Camtasia 9. I've added quite a few to my library since I've downloaded it. But when you download Camtasia 9 and you choose to install the library, you'll get quite a few assets here, including some eLearning Brothers assets. Along with the new assets that come with Camtasia 9, eLearning Brothers has also created a whole bunch of new assets. Here you can see all of these new assets that were built in and for Camtasia 9. So everything here that has these green bars across the top are brand new assets just for Camtasia 9. And so we've added quite a few to our library, and they're ready to be downloaded and used. These will work in the new Camtasia 9, and they're absolutely remarkable. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now, Calvin, I'm going to go ahead and turn my screen over to you, and when you're ready, go ahead and talk to us about behaviors. Behaviors are over here in this ribbon. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and turn the screen over to Calvin.
As you can see on the left-hand side in the tool menu, it's about fourth down. When you click on that, you'll see that you have 9 pre-installed, predetermined behaviors. These are currently the only 9 you can work with, but in each one of them, there's a 3-phase approach to them. There's a in behavior, there's a during behavior, and there's an out behavior. So the way that we've most efficiently related this to you guys is, think of behaviors as they take any visual asset that you have on your project, whether it's a background, it's a icon, if it's text, a picture, anything. It changes the way that object behaves throughout your video. So what I did to give you an idea is I took one of the the intro assets that I got from eLearning Brothers. I threw it on my timeline and I stripped it down. eLearning Brothers has been fantastic, and they've got these intros that already have behaviors pre-added to them for you. So I went ahead and I stripped that down so you can see what an intro would look like without any behaviors added to it. So I'm going to give you a quick clip of that. So that should be playing out for you guys. So as you can see, as it's going through without behaviors, it's a pretty static, clinical looking video. The visuals are great, the content that's there, it gets the message across. But for some of you that want to add a bit more engaging, interactive, eye-catching stuff for your audience, all you have to do is you can just drag and drop any of these behaviors onto an object. You can tweak it over here in the Properties panel, and then it brings your stuff to life. So what it is, I re-added that same intro that you just saw back on the timeline, and I left the behaviors in it so you can actually get an idea of what happens when you combine multiple behaviors with multiple objects. So I'll go ahead and play that for you guys right now.
I do want to mention that a lot of people are going to see this as being fairly jumpy because GoToWebinar isn't able to capture it at a high enough frame rate to really see, to give these justice. But you're welcome to go to TechSmith.com and take a look at some of the demos they have there, or go to eLearningBrothers.com and check out a few of the demos we've got there as well. And you can see that these behaviors are really cutting edge and very easy to use and easy to make something look absolutely remarkable.
Yes, definitely. I think GoToWebinar caps out lately at under 10 frames per second, and you need at least 15 or 20 to see these properly. So they do play back at a full 30 frames per second when you actually apply them to a video. So thank you for mentioning that. What I can do to Andrew is I can get a file out to you that you can then share with everyone that attends today. Is we've got a developer in-house who created a video strictly in Camtasia, only using the assets that come on first install with Camtasia. And he applied a bunch of behaviors to it, so that way you can distribute that out to the audience and they can see kind of the power behind behaviors. So I'll get that to you after the webinar to get out to the audience.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll email that out to everyone who's attended this webinar.
Perfect, thank you. All right. So with that, so we've got the behaviors, you've got the different ways of tweaking them. When you take a look at, say, this intro clip, let me kind of expand this and make it a bit easier to see. On the right-hand side, this is where you can control the in, the during, the out that I mentioned. All of the different objects on, say, this group for the intro, all the different properties for them will stack. So you can see the first one I have is I can change different aspects of the intro clip, and then I can break it down to the behaviors of, it's like this one is one of the rectangular colored lines. So I can effectively change what the style it is of that bar when it comes into the frame. I can change the different easing, the movement, whether it bounces, what direction it goes, and how fast it goes. So that's just all the different granular changes I can make for how it appears on your screen. Then I can change what it does while it's on its screen. So for this one, eLearning Brothers has it set to do nothing. It shows up and then it sits there. But you can then change it to whether or not it fades in and out, if it jumps up and down, if it just pops there, if it pulses, a bunch of different options for what it does while it's on its screen, and then also you can change how it leaves. So if you want it to mimic exactly what it did on the way in, you can do that. If you want it to just disappear, you can do that as well. So when you look at the starting 9, and then you look at the different combinations you have for the 3 facets of the behavior, you really have actually millions of combinations that you can apply to your videos to make them way more creative, more engaging, and more professional looking without having to be an actual video professional. Typically, if you want to recreate these types of animations and movements, it's going to take you 4 to 5 hours in another program to recreate that. For this, all you have to do is drag and drop. So what I'll do is I'll quickly just grab an icon, standard icon off of our asset library. Now, show you exactly how easy it is to do a couple behaviors. I can just click on one of the behaviors, drag it over to the canvas, drop it right on the object. As you can see, it highlighted the object in blue. That showed that it can take a behavior. As soon as it was on there, it showed it as green, saying that it was ready to accept the behavior. And then as soon as you release, it applied it. So right now, that icon looks like it disappeared. That's only because the behavior that I picked was pop up. So it pops up onto the screen. So at first, based on where my timeline is set, it's going to appear that it's not there. But I assure you it is there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another one to it just so you can get some better visuals. So what I did is I did the pop-up and then I did the pulsating. So you can hopefully, despite the choppiness of GoToWebinar, see that swung up from the bottom of the screen, and then while it was there, it kind of pulsated almost like a heartbeat. So it was quick and easy. It only took me about 15 seconds to, 1, add the icon, and 2, add some behaviors to it. So outside of the behaviors, some things to supplement that. We have all the transitions that you guys know and love are still there. We have a way of breaking them down now to different categories as well. So before, if you wanted to add a transitions, you had to drag it to the timeline. You had to make a lot of granular changes. Well, now, just like the behaviors, it's as simple as dragging and dropping. One of the major goals of updating the UI this time around and kind of changing the layout was to create a more efficient workflow for you guys. So now you can just work left to right, dragging and dropping, and then editing on the canvas as well. Some of those workflow efficiencies that we've been focused on. And then all of our animations are here as well. So the zoom and pan, all the different custom animations, some wiping, some tilting, all the stuff that you would like to make your videos more professional looking with are there, and those are also drag and drop as well. So that's kind of the theme, is drag and drop and then on canvas editing. So, and one note about our icons are that we've now made them vector based. So as you add them onto your project, you can drag and resize them and they'll adjust appropriately, so you can actually have them as large as you want or as small as you want, and the quality will still be crisp and clean. So, all right. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about that we've got on the agenda today is something that you guys may have picked up on, that I'm no longer referring to the product as Camtasia Studio or Camtasia for Mac. What we did this time around is we've brought a lot of our features from the PC side that were exclusive to Windows prior to this release, and we've brought those to the Mac side. So we're getting really close to being a true parity between the two. We're not quite there yet. As we mentioned, the library is not there on the Macs yet. It is coming eventually, but we want to make sure that we can implement it properly before just rolling out like a busted feature. So Macs will get it, but a lot of people have asked for quizzing. A lot of people have asked for grouping on the Mac side. We can proudly say that those are there. You can do quizzing. They are SCORM compliant, so if anyone here are educators that use an LMS system that is SCORM 2004 or 1.2 compliant, you can create a quiz package with a video in Camtasia on the Windows side and on the Mac side that will integrate into your LMS. The grouping, so the way that, for example, this intro clip from eLearning Brothers is set up, where it's a bunch of different assets, but they're condensed down to one group, that is now on the Mac side. So now your timelines on your Mac projects are going to be just as easily organized as they were on the PC side. On top of that, we didn't just stop there. As Andrew alluded to earlier, there's a lot of handing off between the two sides. We recognize that a lot of you work in teams that have PC users and have Mac users. And if you wanted to share a project between the two, it was pretty much a very painful process and near impossible to do. Some of you are very endeavorous and they got it to work, but it wasn't great. What we did this time around is, because we are at that parity point where we feel comfortable referring to them as just Camtasia and not for Mac or Studio for PC, you can trade projects back and forth now as much as you'd like. The only kind of caveat to that would be is we do ask that you use the file export to Mac or Windows step, because what that will do is that does a compatibility check. it'll make sure that if there is, for some reason, a feature that you've utilized, say on a Mac, that isn't there on the PC yet, Camtasia will warn you saying, hey, some of these features are not going to work on that side. So that way you can send your project over there and know that the person that's going to editing can do what you need them to do. The biggest thing, so you guys at home know, if you are one of those users that tosses it back and forth between platforms, if you're going to be utilizing the caption feature, we do ask that you guys do that last before you actually produce the video out. Captioning is the one thing on the Mac side right now that isn't up to par with our Windows side, so we do recommend you do captions last, if at all possible, to do them on the Windows side if you are doing kind of cross-platforming. With the cross-platform, we also are introducing that you can pull old projects up and across. So if you have a Camtasia Studio, say 7 project that you want to bring into 9, and you want to modernize it, and then you need to hand that over to somebody from the Mac that's on the Mac side, you can do that now. All you have to do is you walk that project up from CS7 to CS8 into C9, and then once it's into C9, you just do that export to Mac, and then you can easily open on the Mac side. And the same works for the Mac. You go from CMac 1 to CMac 2 into C3, and then you can drop that over to the Windows side. So we've focused heavily on bringing the cross-platform capabilities of the software up to par with each other. And I think if I had to put a number on it, we're at 95% true parity. We're getting so close. We are working towards getting that process done. Because we have a very loyal Mac user base, and we want to make sure that you guys are just as happy as our Windows users. So that's something that our dev team focused very heavily on. So, all
That's
right.
awesome.
Andrew, is there anything else that you guys were wanting me to touch on?
No, I think that's great. I'm looking here. I don't see any other questions. There are a few other things I'd like to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and take the screen back.
Yeah, go ahead. Cool.
All right. So here, because the behaviors didn't play back super smoothly in Camtasia, here is that same intro, the tech intro from our e-learning library, our Camtasia library. I'll go ahead and play it here, and I've been told it'll play a lot smoother here. And you can see the animations a little bit better. You can see the behaviors bringing the text on and off a lot smoother. There's a lot of animations going on here, and this was built natively in Camtasia 9, so it's very smooth. With the cross compatibility brings a lot of exciting stuff. So currently, if you come into our Camtasia library and you open up any of our Camtasia 9 template assets, you'll see here Camtasia 9 library object, and it says in parentheses PC. So this is a libzip, and then right underneath it is a Mac file that you can download. So we already have these built. There's no need for you to transfer them if you're on a PC or if you're on a Mac. If you want these files, regardless of what platform you're on, you can get them here in the eLearning Brothers library. Also, because you can step them up from Camtasia 8, that also means that all of our Camtasia library is now available for anybody that's in Camtasia 9. So that's over 300 assets, both these new ones and the older Camtasia templates that we have. They're now available for both Mac and PC and ready to be used by anybody that's on the new Camtasia, whether that be 9 or 3. Again, that's over 300 assets at your fingertips. So hopefully this all made sense and you didn't miss anything. Just in case you did, you can call or email us and we can walk you through any part of it, or you can wait until we release this webinar next week. Go ahead and call us or email us. You can reach us here at the information that's here on the screen at our phone number, or email us with any questions at all. If you want to try downloading, if you have a free account, there are some Camtasia assets available through the eLearning Brothers free account, and if you have questions about that, go ahead and email us or give us a call. All of this is ready to go in the new Camtasia 9, so please contact us if you have any questions or visit our website. We do have packages for Camtasia that start as low as $150 a year. Just for that's a basic package. There's more. You got to go and check it out yourself. Is there anything else that you wanted to add there, Calvin? Where can they get Camtasia 9?
Yeah, certainly. Right now it is live and active on our website. We do have some international resellers that have it available as well that went live on release day back on October 11th. You can pick it up on our website. A new license costs $199, which is actually a drastic change from before. Those of you familiar with the previous pricing models, we had $299 for a Windows product, $99 for a Mac product. We figured, hey, you know what? We're bringing the platforms almost identical points in time. Let's meet in the middle on the price as well. So it's a great price point. If you guys are an upgrade user, you can get that upgrade for $99.50, and that is our commercial pricing. So if there are government users, nonprofits, or educational users, we do have discounts available for you as well that are available on the website. If you're curious about whether or not you qualify for a certain pricing discount, go ahead and give us a call. Contact our sales team at 888-750-0685, and any one of them can help you establish your discount tiers and get you that product and get it in your hands today.
Awesome. Thanks for being with us, Calvin. I'm not seeing any other questions. I will go ahead and leave the webinar open for about another 3 to 5 minutes, just in case you guys have other questions, and then we'll close it out. But that's all we've got. Thanks for visiting with as we talked about the new exciting features in Camtasia 9.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Andrew, and everyone at home. If you have any questions for me, get with Andrew and his team, and they can get you guys in touch with me with any questions that you have.